Coming on to question number 13, right? After that, revising the long question, some parts. Now we come to question number 13. It says, choose the correct answer from the following. An agency in which the agent himself has interest in the subject matter of agency is called, we just learned it now, agency coupled with interest. Agency coupled with interest covered under section 202, right? So agency coupled with interest, when at the time of the formation of the contract of agency an interest in favor of agent is created. हमेशा इसमें ये याद रखना है, at the time of formation of the contract. Right? Now coming to question number 14, briefly explain when the principal is liable for the acts of an agent and state under what circumstances an agent is personally liable. See, circumstances under which agent is personally liable, we have done it in detail. So now we have to do circumstances where the principal is liable for the act of the agent, right? So I won't be doing the agent's personal liability because that is being done in mighty detail. Now coming to question number 14. Question number 14. I would be discussing, see, the principal is liable for the acts of the agent. Principal is liable for the acts of the agent, right? When so? Majority of the times, so I'll be discussing certain sections under which this happens. One is section 188, master section, talking about ostensible authority. Ostensible authority. So, in the act of the agent, in the act of the agent is within the scope of ostensible authority, then the principal is liable for the acts of the agent, right? Principal is liable for the acts of the agent. Now coming to this part of the story, if you remember, Vatu was Fenwick, the alcohol company that also did run a restaurant and a bar, right? If you remember, beer bottles to be sold, right? So over there the manager's authority was curtailed, but that actual authority was curtailed, but not the ostensible authority. So what does ostensible authority mean? I would like to reiterate once more. Ostensible authority refers to an authority which the third party can reasonably presume the agent to have in the ordinary course of business at a place where such business of agency is conducted. Now, So when the things are maybe outside the scope of actual authority but within the scope of ostensible authority, the principal would be still liable to the third party for the acts of the agent, right? तो उसके ऊपर ज्यादा नहीं जाते हैं. We've already done all these things in mighty detail. Now उसके बाद है section 229. What does section 229 say? A notice given to the agent, notice given to the agent can be constructed as or can be construed as a notice given to the principal right. So let us say sir has an agent, one Mr. Yash, right? And I told Yash in order to make an offer to one Mr. Hemant, right? So sir told Yash to make an offer to Mr. Hemant, right? Over here, the idea was to purchase a plot, right? So Mr. Agent, Mr. Yash makes an offer to the third person at sir's instance, Hemant. Over here, gives an acknowledgement, ठीक है, acceptance, right? So the communication of acceptance is sent to Yash. Is it a valid acceptance to sir? Let us say Yash forgets to communicate the fact of acceptance to sir. Is it still a valid acceptance? The answer is yes. Right? The acceptance is very much valid. Is sir bound by the acceptance? Yes. So notice given to the agent is construed as notice given to the principal. A communication made to the agent is understood as a communication made to the principal, right? So that is section 229, which states that any notice to the agent is a notice to the principal. The principal later on cannot deny that, and the agent cannot give the excuse that I forgot, right? Section 237. Section 237, when there is agency by estoppel or holding out. What did we learn in estoppel? When by words spoken, written, or by conduct, a person makes the other party believes that a certain state of affairs, then such person is precluded from denying such state of affairs. So once you have given an indication to the other person that there is a relation of agency existing, then you are later on denied from backing out. That is the doctrine of estoppel, right? And we had done estoppel in mighty detail, how the doctrine of estoppel works, right? And holding out refers to subsequent affirmation, or you can say past affirmative act, not subsequent affirmation. I'm extremely sorry, it's past based on, let me write it, that will clarify things. Estoppel is based on spoken, written, or conduct, right? Whereas this is based on past affirmative actions, right? So words spoken, written, or conduct, and this is past affirmative action. Holding out में हमने किया था, right? That servant wala case, there was a relation of master and servant, and later on the servant kept on purchasing goods from a store, and the master kept on clearing the amount. One fine day, the servant took the goods and ran away. Is the master liable to pay on the basis of doctrine of holding out? The master is now to be treated as a principal and is liable to pay, right? So that is a circumstance where estoppel and holding out, the principal is liable for the acts of the agent. And 238 says, section 238 says, a fraud or misrepresentation by the agent can be, sorry, not can be, a fraud or misrepresentation by the agent is concluded as fraud or misrepresentation by the principal. अर्थात मतलब क्या होता है वाल को, the principal is liable for fraud or misrepresentation done by the agent. So the law does not try to bifurcate that. It says that agent is nothing but an extension of the principal. So if there is a fraud or misrepresentation done by the agent, a very, very simple example, we have an electronic goods showroom, right? So we have an electronic goods showroom, right? Now in the electronic goods showroom, my agent, I'll just quickly wind this up, Mr. X makes false statements, my salesperson makes false statements, right, to Mr. Shanmugam in order to ensure that the goods are sold. So over here, false statement knowingly made is nothing but fraud that we have learned in our CPT and our foundation classes. So over here, fraud done by my agent, fraud done by my agent is nothing but fraud done by the principal. So over here, sir, the owner of the shop, sir, would be liable, right? So the idea is very, very clear. The acts of the agent are nothing but the acts of the principal, and even if it is a case of fraud done by the agent, it is deemed to be a fraud done by the principal. So the principal is liability for the acts of the agent. This is the biggest one, 188, when the agent acts within the scope of his ostensible authority. Section 229, a notice given to the agent is notice given to the principal. The principal cannot back out stating that the agent didn't inform him. That's your problem. Section 237, when there is agency by estoppel or holding out, right? And 238 is when there is any misrepresentation or fraud done by the agent is concluded as misrepresentation or fraud done by the principal, right? So we are sorted with our question number 14.